The narrative that the war began on October 7th is grossly misleading. It signifies a deliberate and collective refusal to acknowledge and accept the fact that this has been in the works for the last 75 years. What the Israelis experienced on October 7th has been a lifelong story of the Palestinians. For the last 7 decades, 75 years, Palestinians have been dispossessed of their lands. They have been displaced. They've been subjugated. They've been oppressed. They've been occupied. They've been dehumanized. They've been humiliated. They've been illegally arrested, put behind bars. They've been murdered. They've been bombed. They've been subjected to all possible kinds of torture. And this is not happening now. It has been happening since 1948. And I'll take a very swift detour and go back to that time period when the Jews first came to what is Palestine, what was then Palestine. 1948, they came, and a segment of the Jews, not all of them, let me reiterate, let me be very clear, a segment of the Jews, the militia, they engaged in ethnically cleansing 750,000 Palestinians. Millions of them were forcefully exiled. Thousands were killed, many more were injured, dispossessed of their lands, killed, brutalized. That Jewish militia back then, according to the same Western media, according to the New York Times, were categorized as terrorists. The same set, this brand of terrorist or Jewish militia, formed the state of Israel. In 1948, the Nakba happened. In 1950, the law of return was passed. And according to the law of return, it granted immediate citizenship to any Jew residing anywhere in the world. Now, it is rooted in the ideology to create and expand Jewish communities, again codified in Israel's nation-state law, according to which the state considers the development of Jewish settlements a national value. And in doing so, it expels the indigenous people of the land, the Palestinians, and this is what it has been doing. The Nakba happened in 1948. Again, Palestinians were expelled from their lands in scores in 1967. But it has been going on perpetually. It has manifested in various forms and states and continues to happen till date. Since 2006, Gaza has been under military blockade. What that means is that Israel controls the airspace, it controls access to sea, access through sea, and it controls the land borders going into Gaza. That means that there can be no mobility either of goods or humans in and out of Gaza without Israeli approval. Israel controls the taxes, the revenue that is generated, it controls the livelihoods, it controls the markets. Gaza is a very small strip of land. All in all, it is 25 miles by 6 miles. So basically, if you start running a marathon, you'll almost be done if you run in a straight line. Just 4 miles more, and that's about it. It is one of the most densely populated places in the world. There are 2.2 million dwellers. Of those 2.2 million, 78% are those who are either refugees or descendants of refugees who were pushed into this very tiny sliver of land during and after the Nakba that happened. Gaza has an unemployment rate of 80%. 67% of the population relies on food aid in order to access food or nutrition at all. It is the humanitarian state is in complete shambles. And these are facts. This is not a perception. These are facts that have been stated again and again by 5 different UN agencies who've gone on the record and have spoken about how vulnerable the humanitarian situation in Gaza is. And this is prior to October 7th. It highlights the state of an occupied territory. Gaza has been bombed by Israel in 2008, in 2012, in 14, in 2021, in 2022. 6,050 odd, I can't remember the exact figure, but according to the United Nations Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, about 6,051 or 52 innocent civilians, Palestinians, Gazans, have been murdered, have died as a result of either live ammunition or air-led explosive by Israel. On the contrary, the number in Israel, the number of deaths stands at 309 prior to October 7th, 2023. I don't mean to trivialize deaths by comparing numbers, but I do want to highlight the magnitude of oppression, the difference, the amount of subjugation, and what the Palestinians have had to suffer continuously. There's generational trauma, there's ongoing trauma. So, in order to frame this ongoing conflict as a Israel-Gaza war is absolutely not just misleading, it is shamelessly and deliberately contrary to any possibility of truth. What actually it is a genocide being led by the state of Israel in response to an action by a non-state actor, that is Hamas, in which they are subjecting the unarmed civilian population of Gaza to a complete massacre.